Daredevil's viewership has dropped 50% from season 1. Let me say that again. Daredevil's viewership, according to reports, has dropped almost 50% from season 1, which is absolutely crazy to me for 2 reasons. Number 1, the first season was good.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't the best Daredevil, but it was good. And season 2 has been great.
Mm-hmm.
I have loved season 2. It's been a big step up. But according to reports, it looks like the numbers have not been so good. This comes to us from CBM, who wrote, streaming platforms rarely, if ever, reveal official viewership numbers for movies and TV shows. However, many third-party companies attempt to estimate those figures, including Luminate, which we have talked about on this show before, as Luminate, which measures projects by minutes watched or views by film, TV series, or episodes. How these companies collate this data isn't always made abundantly clear, though they typically aggregate data from a massive panel of connected TVs using automatic content recognition technology to identify what's being watched on screen. Now, here's the rub. The latest figures shared by the company reveal that Daredevil Born Again Season 2 has accumulated 4,500,000 season views, 10,800,000 hours watched, and 652 million minutes watched. In comparison, season 1 generated 8,357,000 season views, 24 million hours watched, and 1.4 billion minutes watched in the same amount of time. This marks a decline of 46% in total views and 54% in total hours watched over the past 5 weeks. The numbers suggest that Daredevil Born Again has suffered a roughly 50% decline in overall viewership on Disney Plus. All right. We talk about a lot, it comes up that, hey guys, not every hit show is good. And not every show that fails to get an audience is bad. I remember a couple of weeks ago, a lot of our own viewers were writing in the live chat that, the Nielsen numbers came out and Daredevil wasn't even on the chart. Didn't even pop up on it. And now this. Now, I do want to remind everybody, though. I want to remind everybody that Daredevil on Netflix was never some massive ratings giant either. It was beloved. Now, it obviously launched pretty well with with Daredevil season 1, because that was 2015. That was like at the tail end, going into phase 2. Marvel was peaking. Everything was Marvel at that time. There was huge excitement around the brand, and Daredevil on Netflix dropped its first season in that year of 2015. But I also want to remind you something like this. This type of a big drop, this isn't the first time this happened to Daredevil. Because if we go over and take a look at this, so Daredevil on Netflix, right? It also, on Netflix, took a huge drop. According to Parrot Analytics and TV Line, the second season of Daredevil on Netflix took a 57% drop going into season 3. Now, also season 2 had a lot of interest because it was the introduction of Punisher and all that kind of stuff. But season 2 was loved, season 3 was loved, and yet that third season saw a 57% drop, again, according to Parrot Analytics and TV Line, from season 2, which is crazy because the show was awesome. And yet it took those types of dips. And I think a lot of people, when it was coming, I remember we talked about this, Rob, when it was coming, when Daredevil Born Again was first coming to Disney Plus, and some discussions started to come up about what the viewership numbers will be. Like, we talked about the fact that we got to remember, it's not like, as much as we in our demographics loved Daredevil, we got to remember it was never this massive numbers juggernaut. It did peak with some good numbers, again, because of how Marvel was peaking at the time, but it was never that huge. And this is not the first time we've seen a significant drop like this. But when you have a show that is as good as this, you've got to ask why. Why are we seeing these numbers drop? The first thing we have to go to is, if I'm just being objective, is even though I quite like season 1, maybe a lot of people didn't. Maybe a lot of people, I mean, I know a lot of people like me didn't think it was as good as the Netflix version, but it was still really good. Maybe a lot of people didn't think it was even any good. Not just in comparison to the Netflix version, but maybe just on its own merits, didn't think it was any good, and they decided not to come back and try it for a second round. You can make that argument, but everybody liked Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix, and that took a 57% drop too. The second thing is this. Maybe TVMA/R-rated just does not work for Marvel. Maybe people who are Marvel fans, the general audience, remember, we're not talking about those of us hardcore fans, but maybe the general audience is simply not looking for the R-rated material that we get in Daredevil. Now, the counter to that, of course, is, well, then why did Deadpool and Wolverine make $1.3 billion at the box office? And you can say, well, it's comedy and it's fun, but still, there's that. Some people might point to it maybe being a marketing problem. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like they marketed it well enough. Some people might point to, hey, Marvel is simply not on the same level of, hype and excitement that it was in 2015. It's on its way back, but I think there's something to be said for that. So, yeah, man, overall, I think there are some theories. I just presented some theories why it just dropped, but I don't feel super confident in any of those theories either. I'm at a little bit of a loss, especially, Rob, considering how good this season has been, because this has been Netflix Daredevil level quality.
I agree.
Me. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. So, Rob, you see these numbers. Does it surprise you? What do you attribute it to? What do you think?
Okay, I've really enjoyed the show quite a lot. And I think that season 1 really teed up this season quite well. I mean, I still maintain that it was all kind of produced as the same long-term story. If I were to guess, I have a sort of more of an out there theory. One, I keep forgetting that it's on. For whatever reason.
A lot of people do.
I think
Jonathan, didn't you say the same thing? Earlier?
Even though it's
I finally caught up over the weekend.
Yeah, I've missed, I think, the last 2 episodes. The wake of Vanessa getting the shard in her head. I haven't gone there. I mean, I know what happens, but I haven't watched those episodes. But I also think, I'll tell you, this is a weird, call it a theory, I just don't think people want this story right now. I think the world around us is so crazy and weird, and just you wake up every day and you dread reading the news. What calamity is going to befall us in whatever sector of our civilization that we're dealing with? And this sort of deals with that. I watch this show and I don't feel good when it's over. And I mean,
that's fair.
And
that's fair.
I watch a show like For All Mankind, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I feel elated when I watch it. The human beings are taking off to Titan to go discover life, and there's something nowadays. I don't think I've ever lived in a time, and also because I'm older, so I'm closer to my own death. But I feel that our civilization is sort of spinning out of control. And one of the things about like watching an Avengers movie is they're going to help us. They're gonna reverse Thanos' snap, no matter how crazy it's gonna get. Not in this upcoming movie. I expect it to be a cliffhanger and things are gonna be bad. But for the most part, you watch a superhero movie and you kind of want to get that warm, cuddly feeling like somebody will be there to help us. But this show tells us, nope.
Yeah. Look, I'll just say straight up. We Donald Trump is the darkest timeline. And you're right. We are living in a world right now where things are maybe that has something to do with why I feel so good when I watch something like Shrinking, or why I get so excited about something like Ted Lasso, or you're watching things like The Boys, which deals with also some pretty heavy stuff, but does it in a jovial way and gives a lot of laughs.
Well, they're trying to say to us, please don't be this way.
Yes, please
we're better than this.
Please, world, don't be like this. But I don't know, maybe that might have something to do with it too. I mean, despite the fact of how great the show is, and I think it's fantastic this season, maybe it's just striking a little bit too close to home for some people. And it's like, this doesn't make me feel, because you're right. As much as I love the show, I don't end the show going, wow,
I'm rejuvenated.
I want to call my dad and I want to, reconnect with people and see, I feel rejuvenated and my heart is full. Yeah, that doesn't really happen after watching Daredevil. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I turn the TV off and I look out the window. I'm like, how come I thought I turned this off? What's going on? It all looks the same.
Yeah, I mean, so it's tricky. I would be curious. Now, obviously, these numbers always come on a delay.
Yeah.
Like they always come like 2 or 3 weeks later. So this is probably reflecting like the first three, maybe 4 weeks. I'd be curious to see in a couple of weeks once the show ends, because I think it's the second last episode tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode
It's
7 or
7.
8. So I think it's only a couple of episodes left. I would be curious to see what the numbers have done as word of mouth has spread that this show's really good and the season's really. I'd be curious to see, do the numbers stay flat or drop more? Or do we see, even though it was pretty low in the first few weeks, that maybe people then caught on later and the numbers go up? I honestly have no guess. I can't even guess, because my guess would have been, man, I bet you the numbers for Daredevil season 2 this year are better than last year. And I would have been wrong. So I don't even know if I have a guess. If you had a guess, Rob, right now, if 4 weeks we revisit the numbers of Daredevil, do we see an uptick because of the quality of the show, or flatline? I don't know.
You know what? I absolutely think we'll see an uptick, because the show itself has been ramping up. So I think people, as they finally hear how good it is, word of mouth, whatever, people are going to, and like myself, I'll finally catch back up. So the quality of this show is really high. And I do expect that it will have an uptick, and it'll continue to do so, because people are going to go back to it and find out. And they're going to go back and watch seasons 1 and 2. And also we have an onslaught. We're moving into Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Punisher is in that. We've got the Punisher special coming up. So I think there's just going to be more awareness of the Daredevil universe coming up. So people are going to go back to it.
Yeah. And again, like some people pointing out in the live chat, and we've said this before too, again, I think a lot of people just overestimate just how popular Daredevil as a character is, or overestimate how big of a show it was when it was actually on Netflix. Again, we'll just bring up this graphic one more time. Let's not forget that when it was on Netflix, season 2 to season 3 took a 57% drop, which is unexplainable to me. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you surprised to see these viewership numbers? Maybe they're exactly what you thought. Do you think the numbers will go up as we've gotten further into the season, or do you think they'll stay flatlined? And what explanations would you give to maybe why the viewership has been down this much? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.